Christianity is revolutionary. Let me say that again. Christianity is revolutionary. You wouldn't know that sometimes from its history, would you? Sometimes it gets domesticated and made sedate, and the power and the turning that is stirred up from the message that is proclaimed, it gets softened. And more than that, sometimes even reduced to a whisper or silence. But that's not the message that we read in the scriptures if we take it seriously. I think it started to get domesticated maybe with Constantine. I mean, that's what most scholars agree, that when Constantine said to his whole empire, "You are all Christians now." And for Constantine, there was an or else. And there was the point of a sword in his hand. And then, as a result of that, the Christian church, the institution, grew close to the powers that be in the societies of Europe and throughout the world. And maybe the Christians, and even we do today, enjoy being close to those places, enjoy being a central part of the institutions of society. But that's dangerous, and that's dangerous because it gets domesticated, it gets calmed down, and we get put in the place of supporting the status quo instead of the good news of the gospel. I mean, look carefully at this song that Mary sings. The world is going to be turned upside down. The rich are going to be scattered in the thoughts of their hearts, the new RSV says. The RSV, the original RSV, said, in the imaginations of their hearts, in their own musings, they're going to become scattered because they are so filled with themselves. And it needs to change. And the gospel is, it's going to change. Mary, an unexpected, unlikely hero of the Scriptures. But then the Scriptures are always doing that, picking unexpected, unlikely heroes, people that God uses so that we can see God's power. It's not their might, it's not our might, and that is the deception that we live with. We think it's our might, we think it's our strength, we think it's our skills. Those are God-given gifts, but there is so much more to it. There is God who comes and stands beside us. There is God who comes and strengthens us. There is God who calls us. There is God who gives us a vision of more than what the world is today. That the world is about to change. That it's not all calm and peaceful. That God is going to bring justice and right relationships and peace and equity. We may not like hearing that. It may mean that, well, if the world changes, we're going to have to change. I don't know exactly how that'll be for you or for me, but I do know that, kind of in that line of domesticating the gospel, that we struggle with change. We struggle with change. And yet, the people that have led us to much better places in life, in our society, have been those who have been courageous enough to speak up for change. I mean, I admire their courage. Could take Greta Thunberg, right? A young woman who looks into the eyes of power all around the world, tells us the way it really is in terms of our climate. And then her shortest version is, do your job. The world's about to change. Or at least it better change. It needs to change. We, as Christians, are called to care for all of the environment. It's not peaceful. It's challenging. Martin Luther King Jr., when he presented his vision and led people on marches and was part of that movement back in the day, he wasn't always popular. Not with everyone. And yet, because God came beside him with a vision, and because of many who walked with him, the world inched toward change. There are many others, I'm sure. There are many others you can think of, and if I asked you to turn to your neighbor, you might think of some of them yourselves. Harriet Tubman went to see the movie, and I don't want to give all the movie away, but you know the story of Harriet Tubman. Do you know how much? Have you come to recognize how much a part of what she did was her faith? And being called forward in the things she was doing because of that faith? God calls us to be part of those who are bringing about changes toward justice and peace and righteousness and equity. Christianity is revolutionary and it's transformational, and it happens societally, but it also happens in us as individuals. Advent is a season that as we move through this season, we ought to be exploring, or we could be exploring in our own lives, where is it God is leading me? How is God calling me? What is it that God is inviting me to be and do differently? How is God working for transformation in my life? Or how is God calling me to be a part of God's transformative work in the world? There was Mary in some, as most people put it, backwoods town, when an angel comes and says, Mary, God is calling you. And you are to be the mother, through you, of one who is Jesus, the Savior. And she sings that the world is about to change. And so are we.